Hello and welcome to Civ 7. Now we're going to be starting off our very first game today. I'm not a Civilization aficionado by any stretch of the word, but I have been kind of casually playing the series ever since Civ 2, way back in the day. So let's jump into it. So we've got a lot of interesting leaders to choose from, but rather than kind of go through and pick someone that I think is going to give me a really easy ride, I think for our first game, we're going to let fate decide. We're going to jump in on random. I might regret this very shortly, but we're going to see how it pans out. And we'll leave it in fate's hands. Same thing for the civilization. Again, we've got some really interesting choices. And these obviously lead into different civilizations in the exploration age. But you can unlock some of these, I think, by doing different things throughout the playthrough. So, again, we're going to leave it up to fate. I'm going to be going in on Viceroy difficulty, and we're going to start with standard game speed on a fractal map, because I've had that recommended to me, and a standard map size. So, without further ado, let's do it. Let's see what it's all about.
Harmony reveals itself through the shaping of energy, the cultivation of order. Now, the Han shall be its ministers.
Okay, so we're going to be starting off with Confucius. Confucius is a decent start, I think. I think he gets some passive growth in cities, as well as some science stuff going on as well. So we've got a tier 1 unique ranged unit, a zone control and higher defense strength, plus 5 combat strength when attacking adjacent units, which is pretty handy. That kind of close ranged unit is useful. We've also got the Shi Dafu, great person with 1 charge, can only be trained in cities with at least 10 pop. And the specific Shi Dafu received as random. I've seen a few of these different kinds of great persons, and they seem quite interesting, to be honest. I've seen people using the conquistadors with Spain, and they've got some pretty useful abilities usually, so that could get interesting as well. And then also we get access to the Great War, which gives us culture and happiness for adjacent Great War segments. We can build those kind of throughout our civilization, which could be quite interesting. That also counts as fortifications and gives us combat strength when defending. So, cool. Let's jump in with Confucius. So, before you embark on your journey to create an empire that stands the test of time, take a look at some of the fundamental concepts of the latest installment in the series. We're going to get a few tutorials as we go. The game is split into ages, which is a bit of a new feature. I know previously you just kind of played from start to finish and that was it. But in Civ 7, it's actually split up into 3 separate ages. So at the end of an age, you'll get to choose a completely different civilization. You will keep the same leader, but it'll come with kind of new challenges, and it's a bit of a progression wipe across the board when it happens. So that's quite an interesting twist on the gameplay. And then we've also got legacy paths, which are going to give us kind of bonuses that carry on into the next stage. And you're going to see that we're going to get challenges and that sort of thing as we go. And challenges on the horizon. Every game of Civ is its own journey, and you'll see from the following tutorials and advisor messages there are countless ways to build an empire. So I haven't decided just yet what we're going to do. We're going to see how the game kind of pans out. But I'm quite tempted by science more than anything, and I'm not leaning towards a militaristic game yet. But again, that could change. So let's get going. Here we are. We've got our founder unit. Greetings, Confucius. With a new vision come to the Han people, ready to put down roots in these fertile lands. Your founder has the ability to establish your first city. Select them now. So, I have actually got the Han civilization, which is quite interesting. Can we see what our leader can do from here? No. We've got our age progress here, which is what I was mentioning with the stuff that carries on. So we can kind of track these. These will come in a little bit later. And throughout this specific age, we get challenges. And these give us bonuses that we can choose in the next stages. So that's pretty cool. And I think this is your leader screen, where you can view choices you've made about your leader and Civ. 4 panels, diplomatic actions. Here we go. So we've got some different things. We've got our leader abilities here. We've obviously taken no actions yet. So the ability that we've got is growth rate in cities and signs from specialists. So that's going to be actually quite good for what we're hoping to do. We're going to get our cities growing pretty rapidly. And then for the Han Empire, we get 9 provinces. The capital and new towns gain an additional population with their first growth event. So these actually work really, really well together. And we get extra production towards constructing Weiyang Palace. This actually thematically, I don't know if this is intentionally chosen something that fits, but thematically that works very, very well. So we'll see. So with our founder, which is a kind of a unique unit that's going to found our city. That's a very cool little look here. They're ready to go. We don't really have any resources here, which is a bit of a shame. I don't know why that hasn't started with the resources on, but there we go. So we do have some resources here. We've got some silk, we've got some horses. There's more horses over there. Also got, I think this is hides up here. Got a few kind of culture tiles, a little bit of production. It's not the most amazing starting position, but that's absolutely fine. If we look at the settler lens, it is recommending this as a good place to start. I think to be able to get this silk straight away and get our culture rolling is a good choice. So we're going to go with what the game thinks, just for our first game, and we're going to settle our city. So there's Chang'an. The whole Chang'an, the cultural centre of the Han people. This city and all your future settlements provide your civilization with specific yields. We get food, we've got production, and we've got science. Settlement generates an amount of production every game turn, and we're going to use production to build stuff. So let's choose our first production. And it looks like we get a bit of a boost on our first turn, which is pretty useful. I think I'm going to go for the scout, just to start things off and start figuring out where we are in the world. Excellent training will begin at once. And that'll do it for our first turn. While the lands surrounding your city are visible, the rest of the world remains unrevealed. This is represented by the patterns tiles, which are gorgeous, by the way. These are absolutely beautiful compared to the kind of just foggy map that we had before. Once we get this scout out, he is ready to go straight away. We can start fanning out. It looks like we've got a bit of coast here. So if we maybe go down to the coast and then loop around to get a good kind of 360 view of our civ. We've also got a couple of little abilities that the scout can do. So we can increase our sight range by 1. And we can also have a little search around and reveal discoveries. So things like ruins and that sort of stuff. We can pop a little look out and it will highlight those for us. So, let's start going down this way. See if we can't explore a little bit of this. So we got straight into the desert down here. Unit's movement speed is the max number it can travel. But obviously then with hills and forests and that kind of thing, that's going to hinder us a little bit. Technologies. New technologies emerge when people put their minds to solving great problems. Whichever tech you pursue next will determine the tools you have at your disposal to build your civilization. So let's have a little look at our tech tree. So the tech tree, as you can see, is much shorter compared to what it was before. Obviously you used to just have this going all the way up to the end of time. But we just got this specific to this age, and that's it. It's much easier to manage, I think. So we've already got agriculture. We could get animal husbandry because we've got some horses, so we can get some pastures going, production on camps and woodcutters, and food on pastures. That will also unlock our ranged unit, so it might be useful to have those early on to get our defences going. We could also get pottery, which will give us food on plantations and production on clay pits, or we could go into sailing. Now, I'm not coastal just yet, so I think we're going to go for animal husbandry. We'll start there. Research obviously takes time to complete. Animal husbandry has a science cost of 77, and we're currently generating 10, so 7 turns. Obviously we're going to buff that as we go. There we go. Perfect. So we've got our first tech in. And let's decide what we're going to build next. Now, I'm very tempted to go for another scout straight away. You can obviously buy things from in here. But I think just exploring and figuring out where we are, and then we'll build one of those range units potentially when we get that. It's probably a good idea. So let's grab a scout. Technology tree is a comprehensive view. We've just looked at that, so that is fine. So thanks to the amount of food your city has generated, it has grown in population. So let's decide where we want to grow our city to. So when the city grows, it can expand into an adjacent tile, gaining the yields it offers. And when your settlements people move to this tile, they create an improvement. So unlike the last game where you had to build workers, or builders I think they were called, and then go in and kind of improve the tiles yourself, when you expand to a tile you just get what it's offering straight away. So currently we have got this silk over here, which could be useful. That gives us a bit of culture. We have also got a good bit of food here. I'm tempted very early on to get stacked up on food, and that also gets us close to the horses, so let's do that. Perfect. And actually it looks like I can grab another tile as well, so I think maybe this production with the horses. Perfect. Recent expansion has allowed you to improve a horse resource. Horse resources grant bonuses or abilities to the city. So, horses, cavalry units gain extra combat strength and an additional one against infantry units. This is an empire resource, so it affects your entire civilization. So I believe if we jump in here, this is our resource screen. So we've got empire resources, which we don't need to apply anywhere. And then obviously our cities have got slots. So when we start accumulating resources, we can then assign them to different places. So we've got a bit of a fun mini game here, which I'm excited to get my teeth into. And then let's keep going with our scout. Looks like this is potentially more coast here. And obviously we've gone into the water there, so that's going to take up his turn. No, that's fine. Moving on then, we can keep going with this guy. I think let's just reveal that coast. He is able to embark, which I wasn't sure I could do from the start, but that's fine. I also can't seem to get to the tech tree from here. I would have thought it would come up there, but that's fine. So let's start going down along this coastline here. Oh, I do love this little scout. The way it looks is gorgeous. And that little dog. Looking fantastic. The graphics team have done amazingly well. So we have got pasture here. I think with animal husbandry we are upgrading this. That'll be a nice little start for us. Let's move over here. Let's have a look at this search ability. Lovely. So we've discovered a little campfire. Exploration has revealed a campfire, one of many discoveries that can be found in the world. So if we try and get to this campfire, it's like a little goodie hut that you used to have before. So we'll get a nice little bonus in there. So we'll start to make our way down there. However, we've also encountered a stranger from the village of Vyadapura. They appear to be hostile. So our scout could be in a bit of danger here. We haven't found where his village is yet. That is just a scout. So we should be okay for now. But if we can find where they are, we can potentially make friends with them. That could be good. So we'll head down here. We also, with our search, uncovered this cairn. So we'll try and get up there afterwards. Looks like our city can grow again. So what does this silk do for us? That's 10% culture, which is going to give us a +1 for now. I don't necessarily have much better tiles than that. I think we'll grab the culture, start to get that rolling. We've got a narrative choice. First off, improvements. When you direct your people to live on a rural tile, they create a structure to work in the land called an improvement. And we can further improve improvement yields. So that's cool. Let's see what this choice is. Silkworms labour under the gentle care of their minders. Scholars wonder whether they could be domesticated and made to produce more thread, but they are living creatures. The gentle wound tender says, can we be so sure of their desires? So do we want to domesticate them for gold? Or do we want to take some science? I think right now we'll take the science. That'll be a nice big boost.
Watches butterflies.
So we have unlocked animal husbandry. So that's going to give us extra production on camps and woodcutters and food on pastures. So that's a nice big boost to our food straight away. This also gets us our ranged unit. And we get a saw pit as well, which you can add on to some tiles. But I think these ranged units are going to be very key on the that first kind of age. And we can choose our legacy. So we can do all of these objectives. We'll have a little look in a minute. I think we're going to go towards the science for starters. So our science advisor is going to guide us on our path. So we've got the legacy path, Great Library 1. The world contains innumerable mysteries waiting to be discovered, and I, your humble science advisor, intend to show you the way. Let us begin by devising a way to record our very thoughts. Such records would not only allow us to hold a mirror up to nature, but to harness its power and reshape the world. So we're going to get these objectives, which will kind of guide us towards getting these points, but we've got kind of an overarching goal for the entire age. So let's have a little look at that. It wants me to research writing, for starters, which we'll probably go into in a minute. But we can actually see our age progress here. So I alluded to this earlier. We've got a couple of main goals that we're going to work towards. So for culture, the goal is to house 7 world wonders. And this will move us up on this track and unlock some of these. If we don't get anything, then we get a dark age, which is not great. Military, this is to have towns or cities. Currently we've got 1 settlement, we've got 1 point. For science, he wants us to get 10 codices in our empire. So we can start finding things called a codex and displaying those. And then for economic, assign 20 resources. So as we expand, we might find some more resources. I think ideally we'll get at least 1 point in all of these. But I'd like to focus on this science to aim for that Great Library Golden Age. And we'll see how we can get on with that. Currently we're tracking this, but for all of them really, we can get all of those done if we're really lucky and quite efficient in how we do things. So we'll keep track of that as we go. Now we have got another production to choose. Range units like the Chukonu have the ability to attack from more than 1 tile away from their target. Additionally, the defender does not have the opportunity to retaliate. It's a wise strategy to order your range units to attack first, damaging and weakening the enemy before sending your melee units in to attack the target. So I am going to train one of these. I'd like to explore a little bit more and figure out where we're going to settle next. So let's queue up Chukonu. That is great. And then we've got to choose a technology as well. So let's open up our tree. Our science advisor wants us to get writing. We've got 2 codex slots in this library, so we can start to display things. We also get the Great Steel and Research Initiative, which is something we can produce, I believe. And that is going to basically boost our science. And then it's also got Mastery for extra science and gaining a codex. But to get to that, we've got to unlock Sailing first. So this will allow us to embark. Gets extra food on fishing boats. Unfortunately, this is not massively useful to me right now. I think what I'd actually prefer is potentially pottery, which will give us the brickyard, because I don't really have anywhere to put a fishing key right this second. Could also get masonry. That would allow us to get walls and monuments for culture boost, and to start building the pyramids if we wanted to do that. I think I'm going to go for pottery to get an extra bit of food and production available to me. And we'll probably start working towards writing after that. Have got our next scout, so I think we're going to go probably towards this. Might as well grab that since it's right there. And then we might wrap around the north with that scout. We're pretty close to the top of the map, which is interesting. I've seen a few other people playing, and I think most of the playthroughs I've seen, they've been close to the north end, which is, yeah, quite an interesting thing. Coincidence, I suppose, but that's fine. It looks like we've met another leader. So you've just met Ibn Battuta. Good diplomatic relations with other leaders can yield powerful benefits for your civilization, but they are also your main rivals in achieving victory. So let's figure out what this leader is all about.
مقابل جميعا مقابلة جيدة على طريق السفر على الأقل آمل ذلك.
Oh yes, nice to meet you too, sir. So we could just give him a neutral greeting, which doesn't really change anything, or we could spend some influence, which we've got 70 up here, to reveal our capitals to each other. And that should improve our relationships as well. So let's do that. Hopefully we can see where he is on the map, and that'll unlock a little bit more for us. This is our diplomacy screen. So we can perform diplomatic actions and all sorts of other things to change our relationships with each other. But to do that, we're going to have to spend influence. So we'll have to work on accumulating some of that. And they'll often pull diplomatic actions on me as well. And we'll have to spend this influence to kind of react to it, or we can just accept it for free. So let's see what we've got going on here. We are neutral at the moment. And we're not going to worry about too much about what you can do for the first game. I'm sure we'll get into that later. There's nothing I really want to do at the moment, so that's fine. His capital is down this way, so that is interesting. He's pretty close by. I'd like to see, you know, what's kind of in between us so that I can grab some of this stuff before he does. Let's continue with this settler. I think rather than going down this way, although we could potentially look at settling down here, I am going to grab this campfire before he does. A trader has obtained a cargo of spices from afar. The weightless herbs crumble to dust in the hand and are sure to become a sensation before long. So we can either sample the herbs for culture and happiness, or we can take the food home to Chang'an. I think in this case we're going to take the food, try and get a bit more growth, and then you're going to continue down here. So we have got a bit of iron down here. That's just out of range of me, I think. But yeah, maybe we look at settling down here. So we've got some gypsum, we've got some more silk. So there's quite a lot of culture down this way. Have a look at the settler view. It's suggesting I go there, but I think that's a little bit close to my capital. Prefer to be a bit further down this way. Like somewhere where, you know, even possibly where I am now, to kind of get all of this stuff involved. I think it's 3 tiles, so I'd get a bit of fishing in there. I'd get the gypsum, I'd get both the silks, and we'd get this cotton as well. So that could be a good spot. But for now, we'll just move on. So we've got a diplomatic action happening. Ibn Battuta is inviting you to trade maps. So we could reveal each other's claimed territory over time. Which, not too bad an option. Be nice to see more of the world without having to spread our scouts too far. Or I could just accept. And he just gets my map revealed, and I get some gold. I think I'd like to see what you've got revealed. So let's do that. And then we can move around with our units again. So let's keep going along the coast a little bit and just see what's down this way. I might do a little search on the next turn and then start heading in this way. And then for you, we'll grab this Ken. Folk have gathered to celebrate a god of plenty. Dancers drink and make merry. Gamblers cluster together. In the morning, they tell you their fortunes. So I can either join the celebration to get some happiness, or observe from the sidelines to get some culture. I think we're going to go towards culture. Start getting our civics in play. And there we go. That's triggered our first civic. So let's have a look at this. So we've got two options to start off. We could go into mysticism, which lets us choose the priesthood civic, which gives us more gold in all settlements. It also unlocks altars, which gives us happiness, and we can found a pantheon. Or we can go into discipline, which gives us more scout movement and sight, which I think would be very useful for what we're doing at the moment. And also gives us a free army commander. So I think that's what we're going to go for to start off. We've also got specific civics for our empire. So we could get access to the Great Wall immediately and get extra settlements, more influence, stronger unique units, which could be very good because we're planning on building those anyway. And then extra science. So quite a lot of science coming from this. Definitely an option. And we get Weiyang Palace, which is going to give us base influence on everyone. Must be placed on grassland though, so I should have plenty of grassland. Yeah, I've got lots. So you'll need to establish a government before you can enact social policies. Each form of government has its own unique effects. Choose your government now. So each different kind of government is going to give me two options basically to choose from when we trigger a celebration. And that's obviously done through happiness. So our options are culture and production towards wonders. Don't know how much I'm going to be going towards wonders this game, so maybe not that one for now. We could get science and production towards infantry units, or food and production towards buildings. I think I'd like to expand. I don't want to be too militaristic, so we're going to go for oligarchy. And then we can use some social policies. So we can enact a social policy, and by completing civics we'll unlock more stuff. So I think we're going to go for production and science for now, to start really teching up. You can adapt your civilization strategies by swapping social policies. And we get to trigger that every time we can earn a new one. So let's crack on from there. Looks like we've met somebody else. So we've got Pachacuti down here.
Nukangani Pachacutech, Intich Saminchaskan, Apur Kukunach Churing, Nukakahti, Katatatanku, Alpakuyochting Hinara.
Pachacuti looks pretty stern with that halberd he's brandishing versus this very passive looking Confucius we got here. I'm just going to give a neutral greeting for now. I don't actually have the influence to do anything else, so that's fine. Shame we couldn't be a bit more friendly at first. I definitely don't want to get on the wrong side of him, because he looks a bit more intimidating than the last guy. We've got a narrative choice. Lesson of Jen. On a warm autumn morning, citizens gather to hear Confucius speak. He encourages them to treat one another with respect, to always express care and empathy for their fellow humans. So, we could... Such compassion must be shared with the world. 50 culture. We could get science, which build 2 libraries. I've got to think about what I'm kind of aiming for. I think the libraries makes the most sense. Or we could get a warrior. I think we're going to go for the science and then aim to build some libraries. So we've got a new quest for that. And looks like we're growing again. So we've got a few decent choices. We've got some gold and happiness up here. We've also got a decent food tile down here, which could be useful. We've also got food production and happiness. I think to keep growing is probably my initial goal. So we're going to go for this food tile. And then let's keep exploring out here. We'll do a quick search. So it does look like this continues around this way. Looks like potentially Pachacuti's coming from down this way. We do have a tent down there, but I'm not sure if I'd be able to get to it before anyone else. We can definitely try. I do like this as a potential settlement, you know. I know the actual land is not great. There's not really any food around, to be honest. Can we see yields? Yeah, so actually we'd probably really struggle to grow this city, which is unfortunate because there's a lot of really good production resources nearby. So maybe we explore it north and see what we can get up there. Although we don't really have much spare space up here, so maybe our future lies up this way. With that in mind, let's carry on up here. So we've got some elephants this way. Also got some cotton. I think it's a 3-tile distance from the city, so Chang'an is going to expand to here anyway, to these two. That's kind of the borders, so we need to get a bit more distance. Got some incense down here, which gives us science. The ivory gives us production towards wonders. Again, I'm not too fussed on the wonders, but that cotton tile could be useful. That is going to be part of Chang'an though, so that's fine. Another leader's started an endeavour with you. That is the map that we agreed to share. We've got some hostile scouts that are figuring us out at the moment. I'm not too worried about those. Got another choice. Word breaks out that an elite officer who has violated policy will not be disciplined. Amid investigations and disagreements, the officer's supervisor is found to have accepted a bribe. So, do we say this is a betrayal of my teachings? Or his work is worth more than his crime? I definitely don't want officers that take bribes, so we'll take the influence. And then we've got another diplomatic action. Batuta wants open borders. I'm pretty happy with that. He's going to give me 2 gold a turn. No problem with you so far, buddy. We will continue. I think to explore up this way. You know, actually, I think we might go back this way. We're going to double back and explore kind of this side. And you are going to continue up north. So we've got some salt up here. So if we think 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, if we went kind of here, let's see if it's recommending any of this for settlements. No, it's saying that that would be a bad tile on Tundra, I suppose. We'll keep searching, see if we can find somewhere. So it looks like we've got our archer unit ready to go. I think for now we might just fortify in Chang'an. So we've got a little bit of defense in case we have some of those neutral, well, I say neutral, they're actually quite hostile, hostile states coming towards us. We'll grab our next production. So I'm thinking I might start working on a settler and figure out the best place to send him. We could also, we've got a 5 food granary, which could be amazing for our growth, although we are growing pretty quickly. But I think we want to start spreading out as soon as possible, so I am actually going to go for the settler first. We'll continue down this way. Yeah, so no food tiles really down here at all, which is a little bit rough. As for you, you can go and grab this ruin. Weary soldiers have been guarding a crumbling fort. They say they await orders, but months have passed without news or supply. Some fear they've been abandoned. So we could put them to work, or we could get lots of happiness. That's quite a lot of happiness, actually. We don't necessarily need to boost our production. Producing a settler. I don't think 15 is all that much, though. Can I see how much we've got? So it would knock 2 turns off it. I think I can wait a little bit longer because I don't have a good spot for our settlement yet. It likes to think this is, but I'm not convinced. I want to explore up along this coastline, I think. I'll turn these yields off for now. I think let's make plans to return home. Get that happiness going. Looks like we've had a river flooding. So it's a good thing we weren't a little bit closer to that. So the Slido River has flooded and devastated the area. Have a look at the yields. This has actually made these much more exciting, to be honest. I'm still not having any recommendations, but if we come up this way, this would be why. So we have got a hostile village here. We could try and befriend them, the Azertu people. Or Azertu of the Manian people, I should say. But we don't have the influence to start doing that yet. So let's bank off up this way. We could kind of found a little bit of a fishing village up here. Might be an idea. If we went somewhere up along the coast. We've got a decent bit of food. We can get some fishing boats out here, so I don't think we'd struggle. We've also got happiness, a bit of production. Especially with that river having flooded. If we went kind of over here, we could expand over that way and grab some of those bonuses that just came out. We've also got salt, and we've got ivory down here, and cotton will be Chang'an, but 2, 3, yeah, so up here somewhere maybe. You're going to continue this way. It looks like we've got this looks like just a bit of a lake. That's fine.
All are made of clay.
So we've unlocked pottery, which has given us a bit more food and production on specific places. We've also got access to the brickyard. Looks like they are making a beeline for my scout, so I am going to run away. This forest is annoyingly blocking my view up there, but that is fine. Let's have a little look at our tree. So we wanted to get towards writing to start getting our science going and to get those codex slots unlocked. We have got irrigation that we could go for as well. So we get access to the garden and the hanging gardens and a settlement limit. But I think we're going to go for sailing for now. Start making our way towards that writing. And since you kind of hit a wall here, maybe you start coming down. I'm wondering if maybe there's a good spot in here, but I also don't want to go too close to his capital because he won't like that. It is suggesting down here is an option, which is pretty decent actually. 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Yeah. So it wouldn't completely connect us, but maybe there is a good option for a settler. It is a flood risk. However, so we cannot go over resource. We have got fresh water there. 1, 2. We've got lots of resources down here, and we've got access to fishing on 2 coasts. That is a pretty good spot. I quite like it. What does the marble do? Production towards wonders. We're not too fussed on that. I could make a coastal kind of fishing town. That is a bit close to Chang'an. I think we might go for this tile, actually. Let's start exploring down. And just make sure we've got nothing too close to us on this side. So you can keep going down this way. Let's do a little search here, just to get a good lay of the land. Looks like you have discovered something. I'm not sure what. I can't spot it right now. Or maybe... oh, here it is down here. So we've got a tent camp down there. Whether we can get down there is another question, but we have got some tropical land down here, which looks like it gives science. That's quite exciting. Start to reveal up here a little bit. And it does look like this does kind of bank off away. That's a nice little spot there. But again, it's too close to our capital, so I'm not too fussed on that, to be honest. Yeah, no, we don't have fresh water either, so... again, struggling on food. Maybe eventually we'll put some sort of fishing settlement up here, but that's something for a later turn, I think. So I quite like to make a beeline for that. Again, whether I get there, I'm not too sure. And then you can start exploring and see what's up behind us. Looks like your relationship with Ibn Battuta has changed due to their agenda. Remember, you may not need to directly communicate with another leader for your relationship to strengthen or deteriorate. So let's have a little look and see how that's going. So the leader agenda has given us a plus 15, which is nice. We are friendly with them now. The agenda likes the civilization with the most revealed tiles. So it looks like I've done the most exploration, which is cool to know. And it looks like we've hit a celebration as well. So we can choose either food or production towards buildings. We're currently looking to build a settler. I do like the thought of just expanding. Currently we've got 13, so that would probably give us a plus 2, if not maybe a plus 3. And production is 7. So that would only give us a few as well. Maybe like a plus 2 on that. I think we'll go for the food. And we also get a new social policy. So we'll pop that culture in there for now. You can continue down this way. We've got quite a few sheep down here. It's looking quite nice over here, to be honest. We've got some ivory and some wool. So we've got production and happiness on these. And I do like these science tiles. So once we've kind of got our settlement up here somewhere, I might look at potentially coming down here as well. It is saying this would be a nice settlement, but again, it's very close to Chang'an. Let's carry on exploring up this way. Are you going to make it to this ruin on time? Tent camp, I should say, rather. You can continue up around behind Chang'an to see what's up that way. We should be getting our settler coming out. So we've got a new civic. We have unlocked scout movement and sight, which is amazing. We can also build De Sharukin, which is a fortified district. And we will get a army commander as well. So let's grab our army commander and gather up our adjacent units. And this is going to have our settler and our archer unit in there. And I think I like it down here, you know, or even there. No fresh water. It is a flood risk. That's the one thing that we're potentially risking. We could go there. 1, 2, 3. So that would connect up nicely. We'll expand our territory. And then we still get access to all of these resources. And we get a couple of fishing boats as well. I think this one might be the play, to be honest. Unfortunately, I don't have a ton of food. So we're going to struggle on food at first. But if we grow in here immediately and start getting in some fishing, then this is a good bit of production, which will be converted to gold for us. So I think that is a great shout. We could also, just as another option before we decide on that, 3. Chang'an's going to... Yeah, the difficulty is that we're going to be really close to our capital. The other option is to go up here, which has got a lot more food and culture. 1, 2, 3. We would get quite a lot of fishing boats out, and we could use that to kind of, and if this floods as well, we'll get more food there. That is also worth considering that this could flood, so we get some food on that as well, potentially. I think we're going to go downwards, you know, because we saw some other settlements down this way, and I think I want to grab this spot before anyone else does. And we'll see how it affects us with the food, and I might regret it, but for now, I'm quite happy with this. So we've got another narrative choice. Attendants cheer as the veil falls away from an enormous portrait. This is a brilliant likeness of you, an august advisor exults. Celebration of your generosity in the leading style. The smile seems more an uncanny leer, but no one else seems unsettled by it. So, I could either hang this portrait in a place of honor, get some culture, destroy the insult, or pay to have it redone. So we could get just a permanent +1 culture, but it's going to cost us 25 gold. I think the long-term culture is probably more valuable, so I'm going to do that. We can expand our city again. Got a 2 food tile here. I think I'd like to get a bit more production with this one. So potentially production and culture might be interesting. So we've got quite a lot of food at the moment. Our culture's quite low. We could... I don't know if we need the happiness. We could actually go up here and grab one of these to get the production and the culture. I think that's actually what we're going to do. You can start going this way. We'll choose our next civic. I do like the idea of going for this combat strength on our unique unit. And we'd also get a bonus for adjacency for our science buildings. That could be very handy as well. We could also go for tactics, which gives us production towards infantry. I'm not too fussed on that. Or mysticism. I think I'd like to work towards this as soon as possible, as we've got really strong units. And let's choose our next production. So currently my capital is defenseless while those guys are away, so I am going to build another one of these archers. And you can grab this camp. A herd of prize cattle has stopped to graze. Their rich meat is a delicacy back home, but the cowherds say they are bound for nearby Vyadapura. So we could either steal the cattle, so they would become hostile, and that would give us food and production, and sends a raid to Chang'an. I don't think I'm in a decent enough position to do this, so I'm just going to take the influence. We have almost got enough influence to befriend these guys, so that might be what we do, because they could be a bit of a problem for us up north, and if we eventually kind of adopt them into our civ, that would be amazing. So let's continue to explore up this way. That was a bit risky going in blind, but hey ho. I'd like to change my policies if I can. I can. So I think we're going to ease off on culture if we can. We can't actually change it right now, which I thought I could when I unlocked this, but that's fine. We'll keep going up around here. Ah, so we've got some dies for happiness up here. 2, 3. Potentially, if we've got enough land, we could put another sort of fishing settlement up this way. So we're already getting a bit of distance from the capital. You are going to continue this way. We might do a little search. Looks like we found where Pachacuti is. We've got gold up there. That could be very handy. You can continue around this way. Yeah, so we've got quite a bit of space up here, actually. Looks like we are trailing in technology, which means somebody else is ahead of us. I forget where these are. Age progress. There we go. So if we look at the rankings, we're trailing in resources. I guess that means just generally trailing in terms of researching things. So we probably need to work on our science a little bit. He has got quite a lot of nice science tiles in his place, so I'm not too concerned for now. We'll continue up this way. Looks like this continent wraps around a little bit. Maybe we do a little search here. Lovely, we found a cave down this way, so we'll start going down there. I wonder if it's suggesting a settlement up here. It's not at the moment because there's no fresh water, so that could be an issue. We'll switch this back off. We'll get rid of the yields. Right, so I need to decide where I want to put this one down here, really. I definitely want access to fresh water. I'm tempted by having a little fishing town, you know. 2, 3, and 2. So it's good. It's blocking off a little bit of expansion, but not too much, if I'm honest. I think I might struggle to grow down here, just for this lack of food. So if I went up there, we would get the marble, and we would also get the silk, and then we just get loads of fishing boats, and I think you could specialize it as a specific type of town, so we could make it a fishing town and then it would just feed the whole empire. So I think we might actually pivot and go up here and just make a sprawling fishing town and start pumping out some food for everybody.
The fair breeze blew.
So you've unlocked
The
sailing.
white foam flew. The furrow followed free. We were the first that ever burst into that silent sea.
So with that, we've unlocked the fishing key, which is actually going to be perfect for what we're about to do with our new town. We've got a naval unit, and we can now embark with our land units. And it actually gives us a bonus to fishing boats as well. So that's perfect. And let's then go into writing, so we can start building libraries and getting some codices out. We can now choose another production, which probably means our unit has been built. So that's great. Don't think we're interested in that wonder. I am tempted to get some of these production places out, but we can build a 5 yield granary. So when constructing a new building, you must choose a placement location. Buildings can be placed in an urban district with an empty slot, represented by dark green, or you may annex a new urban district represented in light green by placing it there. Yellow tiles contain existing rural population. Building a building on these tiles is possible, but will replace the improvement. And red tiles we can't use. So one of these light green ones would be perfect. I'm thinking if we go up this way towards the cotton, we'll pop it down there. And that will pop our granary in there. We're going to continue up this way. Ooh, so we've got some silver, gold, and kaolin here. So again, we could kind of think about wrapping around this coastline, which could be an interesting choice. As for you, I'd like to spit this settler out here. It's now saying that that might be a better option. Let's really decide on this. So let's look at our yields. If we went here, we are a little bit close to our capital. We would get the marble. We would get quite a lot of fishing tiles. Here, we'd still get the marble, but we don't get these fishing tiles. So yeah, if we want to make a fishing town, this is definitely the way to go, I think. So that is perfect. With our army commander, I'm a bit conscious that I think you can just chill here, actually, for now, because we've got another unit there. You can just fortify. And I might just wait here with you. We'll just move there. And we'll put you on alert. So you can kind of guard this settler while he's doing his thing. And then let's just keep going up here with you. And hopefully get to this cave before anyone else. I do feel like we're sort of central. I really like the location of this this city that I've started with. We have now actually got enough influence to start trying to make friends with these guys, so I'm going to do that. It's like in 15 turns we're going to become friendly. So hopefully they don't attack us before then. And you can keep exploring up this way. We've got some camels over here. Yeah, so this actually wraps around. This is really nice, wrapping around this lake. You are going to found our second settlement, right where you are. So your people have made a new home, providing you with your first town. Like a city, food from this settlement allows you to expand into nearby tiles. However, buildings and units and towns can only be purchased with gold. You can also spend gold to turn a town into a full-fledged city, though the gold cost is greater the more cities you have in your civ. Town of G has truly begun to establish itself as a home for the Han people. Towns are critical for your economy as their production is converted to gold. Yeah. So we can focus this later. Let's have a look. For now, right now it's just a growing town. But we obviously are going to need some gold to build the fishing quay. Probably build that in here somewhere. And then we'll start popping down some fishing boats all over the place. So let's grow into this happiness tile. Grab that river. We might also just grab this as well. Marvel gives us production towards wonders, and we're not too fussed on that. I'd like to just start pumping out some golden food. That's expanded our territory nicely. Bit unfortunate that it is just a little bit too close to our capital, but it's not the end of the world. Zertu is hostile towards me. We've also finished our diplomatic action. I wonder actually if you start getting some XP and take out this scout. Almost had him. I'd like to get my army commander a bit more central if I can. Something like this so we can react. If they do decide to attack us, on either front actually at this point, we can react with the army commander, so that's good. So for you, I'd like to fortify. And then you can just chill until we see someone. You can grab this cave. Shepherds have found a cave perfect for aging Frahidrius cheeses. Locals find their unique musk irresistible. Those in the capital will find them a pure delicacy. So we can either sample it for science and food, or study the technique. I think we're going to take the science and food. Annoyingly, that's landed us right next to a hostile warrior. So hopefully our scout can handle that hit. Have we got any decent spots up here? So we don't have any fresh water. 2, 3, but that would get us dyes. Again, it's a little bit close to the capital. So we'd ideally like to come over here like a little bit further. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. Yeah, so maybe like up here or something. So we can get all of these lovely resources. And this wool as well. I think we're going to remember this tile next to the iron. Might be a nice spot for us. You can keep coming up this way. And we'll explore over here. So we are actually in a... It says open ocean, but this looks like it's a nice little kind of inlet, which is really cool actually. I like the lay of this land. We've got plenty of space to kind of expand around here. I think that would be really satisfying if we can get our civ kind of all around this this little inlet. So with this guy here, I might start getting a bit of experience. So if we spit you out there, you can hopefully catch this guy. I should have probably spat him out next to it. That's fine. You are just going to run away. Hope we can evade this guy. And then you can keep going out this way. And we'll do a little scout. So we have got Serta down here. It looks like he's giving Pachacuti a bit of trouble. Would be nice to try and make friends with them as well. Let's have a little look at our resources. I'm not sure if we've looked at those properly. Culture's not really doing much for us at the moment, but that's fine. Annoyingly, this guy is chasing us down at the moment. We'll go back up around this way and see if we can evade him through the woods. We've also then got you, so you can keep going this way. Hopefully we can kind of explore up there with this guy, so we can maybe start coming down here and having a look around down there. And then you can start getting some XP for our commander. So if we have a look at our commander, we've got experience points and they've got a whole skill tree, and most of these are amazing, really useful. This one, for example, lets them attack as soon as they are deployed. This gives them more movement speed, so we can like really kind of move across the place. And you can also give yields in the settlement, so we can just kind of leave our commander at home. Yeah, so we'll start trying to get a little bit of experience as we go. Looks like G wants to grow. So let's potentially start getting... 1, 2... I'd like to give my capital as much space as possible. But as this is a fishing town, I think let's take that for G. You can finish this guy off, potentially. Yeah, lovely. Decent bit of experience. We can't attack again, I don't think. No. Cyclical in nature, a battlefield nourishes the soil with iron. Deep within the layers of the earth, life begins anew. Remnants of the human cost of war feed into an endless cycle of loss and revival. Plus 100 gold for that. And with that 100 gold, I think what we might do is build this fishing quay. And if we build it out here, we'll have a little look at our yields first to make sure we're not kind of destroying anything useful. No, they all look to be the same. So let's build a fishing quay out there. So that is very satisfying. I'm not sure when this becomes available, but hopefully soon. The trained eye. The soldier exhales slowly and rests the new against their hip. Target in sight. The soldier cocks the lever forward and back, releasing a slew of arrows in rapid succession. They look like shooting stars dancing across the sky. Do we train more Chuko News? I think we do. We're kind of specialising in those at the moment. We'll take that. Which means one of these guys, we can head down to join this army. We might actually leave them in G. And then we've also got another choice. Satisfied at last, the writer sets down their quill. They've spent countless hours writing down words only to scratch them out and rewrite them. All will be worth it if just one reader finds joy in this text. So we could get a codex, which would be amazing. That would be our first step towards our scientific goal. Or we could get some influence. I think we're going to take the codex, start stacking those up. Also got a diplomatic action. I'm quite happy with open borders with my buddy Batuta. And Eureka, your people have produced a codex containing great wisdom. Open the Great Works screen to put the codex on display. So, Great Works including the codex you earned are managed here in the Great Works screen. And we can slot these into our cities to benefit from their effects. So this one gives us +2 science. Absolutely lovely. There we go. That's slotted into our capital. We've got a hostile galley down here, so we want to steer well clear of you. I think we're going to come back this way. And you can start exploring down here. We've also got a scout up here. So we can keep going that way. We'll do a little scout. So this would be where that last guy came from. We'll keep that in mind. He is hostile. Warehouse building. A granary has been built in Chang'an. The granary is a special type of building called a warehouse, which grows more efficient when its correlating improvements such as farms or mines are present in the settlement. Lovely stuff. So we can grow Chang'an by the looks of it. We've got a nice 3 food tile up here. But I would quite like to get some production rolling. I mean, ideally we need science, but if we can get some production and culture, that would probably be really useful. Might regret not taking this food, but I think for now we need to just buff this up a little bit. So we'll take this one. And then what can we produce here? Brickyard gets production on clay pits, mines and quarries, and we have got 2 clay pits at the moment. Or a saw pit, production on camps and woodcutters. I think, because that gives science, culture and production, we might go for that. We don't want to put it on top of one of these. I think we might, let's expand up this way. And then you can just run for your life. Down this way. Oh, that's put me in a really bad spot in the open water. That was a mistake. He might be a goner. You, again, are taking hits. I really need to get away from this guy. Let's go up into the water. We can hopefully skirt around him along the coast. You can take out this guy. Should have moved my army commander in there. I'm still getting used to this. But if I go here and here, can I scoop everyone up? I can. Except for this guy. I guess they need a movement to be able to be scooped up.
I do not open up the truth to one who is not eager to get knowledge.
And we've unlocked a new civic. So with this, we've got access to the Great Wall. We've got a bonus to our science buildings and an extra settlement limit, which is lovely. I am going to pop this in place of our culture, because I want to be able to evade those hostile enemies much easier. Got another choice. Geographers mould a land out of rice, presenting the 3-dimensional map of Han territory to the court. Surveying the terrain, advisors wonder what its future holds. Will these borders grow with new settlements, or will power be consolidated in the capital? So we can prepare for expansion or strengthen the Han identity. I think gold might be very useful. Not sure. I feel like our culture and science are not great, so I'm actually going to take the culture. We can choose our next civic. So we could go towards this bonus to our archers, which I'm definitely going to do. And then with you, we can skirt around these guys. Looks like they're not actually going for me at the moment, and they'll have to go around that river to get to me. So we use that to our advantage. And then I'm hoping that you can come up here away from those warriors. And it looks like they've actually left, so that's good for me. Let's reinforce our army. And then you can potentially, although we're kind of making friends with these guys, you could potentially start coming down here to clear this out. Because I don't have a ton of influence. Maybe I'll take on Cirta. I think we'll start navigating down this way. Because if I can get down here to Cirta and get rid of them, potentially, then I can befriend Katrida with my next influence points. And get a bit of experience down here while I'm at it. And our mate Pachacuti might actually be happy if I clear these out for him. Fingers crossed. Cool. But I think I'm going to leave it there for now. That'll do it for part 1 of this series. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you liked it and you want to see more of Civ 7. And have a great day, and I will see you in the next one.